if you look at the Love's gas station on the way to Las Vegas, it's been there for how long, and there's been no ancillary development around it. But when a hotel pops up on the outskirts of town, what pops up next is a restaurant, and then a shopping area. And then so, again, more development follows where people are hanging out for longer periods of time. And so, I think that the foot traffic to the museum, to the pizza place, to the market, to Shooters, to the train yard is really going to invigorate that area and draw more development and more revitalization to that area. So I just hope that's considered as well.
And I will say that the statute does contemplate positives and negative impacts on.
Thank you, Leo. And I apologize for interrupting.
No, you're good.
So we seconded.
We have a motion and a second, we're just entertaining discussion.
Okay, so, did we pick 30 rooms as a compromise?
That's what the White Plain County Code requires, is 30 rooms.
But I mean, no less than, right?
No less than.
But I'm saying, did we choose 30 rooms as a compromise, or
We choose it, we chose that.
as
Thank you.
opposed to,
My husband English teaches me throw something again.
as opposed to 50 rooms? I'm just.
They chose it to make it uniform.
Yeah, I was just trying to make it
Yeah.
uniform. If we want to have a conversation about the number, but that was my intent with that, is that it was uniform.
And I'm just asking because I just want to be sure in my mind. Do we need to, or do they have to be together? Can we say that we shall have the hotel rooms? I mean, I don't know why we picked 30 or why we didn't pick 42 or why we didn't pick.
Or we just told you about it. We just told you about it. We just told you why to be uniform across the communities.
So we're saying we want to do the 30 because of the county.
To be uniform. Jim doesn't like to say because of the county. Well, I'm speaking for council.
Yes, but that is where I'm coming from. I have no problem with the 50, but I was just trying to make it that way. We look up different counties and cities, and we're all on the same page. You look up White Pine County, you do Nevada, so that's where that number came from. If you would like to talk about numbers, I'm willing to have that conversation. I'm not steadfast in the 30, but I do believe, based off what the council came before, it is a bit of a compromise that we don't have to have the 50, coming down a little bit, but we're still doing what the intent of what our previous council has voted on and had discussions on.
And I guess I wholeheartedly agree with you there, and I'm just thinking about how badly I don't want to be obstinate, but just how badly we need rooms, and with the hotel rooms, it's truly a rebuild it and make it come. Why maybe we wouldn't compromise, if we're compromising and say 40 rooms instead of the 30 or the 50.
Everybody's, I think Mr. West's point of things being marketed is a point well taken. If it's advantageous for them to put in more rooms, they will put in more rooms. They don't have to put in just the 30.
Well, that's true, but I also say, but if I don't have to, I won't either.
But it's
still
clear
more
that, and this is where I guess I'm a little confused still, is that hotels make money in this community.
I don't disagree.
The reports that come from Tour and Rec, the two highest paying properties in our city are hotels that have no gaming. I would just like to point out.
Right.
And so, there is money in hotels. I'm still struggling myself to kind of see the connection between the casinos and the hotels. Is that my understanding from talking to the hotel or the casino operators that most of the business is locals playing. There are some people who play at the hotel, but we are not a destination gambling sort of location. It's mostly locals, as I understand. And so I get, I guess, from that perspective that having rooms with a casino takes a privileged vice license, like gaming is in the state of Nevada, and pairs it with something that the community needs. I get that. But for me, the number is rather arbitrary, whether it's 30, 100, or 5.2. someone's gonna put in enough rooms to make them money, is what, I think my goal is.
Do you have a number you're thinking of? And I want to be clear that I'm thinking not just this project, obviously, but community-wise, because as the mayor pointed out, we need the community, so some of the other properties may be smaller, I don't know, but 30 seems like something that's consistent. So that's where I came up with that.
And we've worked hard making our building code uniform across the, well, we have. Craig has done a great job of making our building code uniform across city and county lines, and, you know, we've been making sure that we're trying to make sure that if you're going, whether you land here or there, that it's pretty.
So I'm just making a statement. For me, as long as we say shall and there are hotel rooms, but I'm also saying, I'm piggybacking on what you just said. Hotel rooms make money. They make money for the person that's building them, they make money for us as the city. What's the difference between 30 and 50 or 30 and 40? That's all.
Well, and I don't, like I said, I don't think it makes any difference because they're going to decide. I don't think the city has to legislate how many hotel rooms they put in.
Okay, so now that's what I'm asking. So do we have to say 30 hotel rooms, or do we have to say shall have hotel rooms? I mean,
Or you don't want to take the number away entirely and just say shall have hotel rooms.
No, that's not what I'm
Okay. What are you saying?
Jim, what I'm just saying, we pulled 30 out of the air, why didn't we pull 40 out of the air? I mean, we were making a compromise, because we wanted to say shall 50, right? And we're trying to compromise, and you're using 30 because the county uses.
Straight. But do you want to just stick with it 50 and go with the previous council and be done?
What we have on the table at the moment is a motion and a second, and we do have to vote on that unless they withdraw those.
So the-
Call for vote.
Is there any other discussion? I will call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Other side of the table?
Nay.
Jerry Lynn?
So let me ask this question again. I don't care,
Please.
I want to do the right thing, so
Sure.
if I'm not understanding, and if I don't have enough information, give it to me. The thing that we're talking about, we're agreeing on the shall,
We are agreeing on the
okay?
shall.
Why, at this particular point, do we have to, we know it's gonna, we've thrown out 30 because the county does that. We know we have 50 because we have done 50 in the past. So, and if we're trying to compromise, and we're talking about hotels being lucrative for our city, as well as the person that's building them, why can't we push the envelope more to the middle, or just stick with 50? I mean,
Well, and I'm gonna stick to order here and say that the time for discussion has passed. We will vote up or down. And if it goes down, we can make another motion, or somebody can, or we can just let that die. But we need to have a vote.
Mr. Mayor, I understand that, but
Okay.
unless
You can vote against and offer another motion, Councilwoman Zarko, but those are the rules of order on that the council has adopted.
No pressure.
No pressure.
We voted down and we can table it.
I don't think we need to table it.
Or
I
just
think- I
die
just,
for lack of motion.
can it
There's
die?
been a motion, we're in the middle of a vote.
But
There's 2 for and 2 against.
So, yeah, if she makes a vote where we get, that motion gets shut down, another motion can come up. Yeah, so that's okay.
And I think you know what I'm trying to do. I think there's agreement around the table on this. And if nobody wants
Well,
mine,
there's
then
not
we're
a
gonna come
agreement.
back.
There's
No, I'm talking about pre-proposing for the word shall. I'm talking about for the word shall.
Sure.
I think the
That's
shall is
what I'm
cleaned up.
talking
We
about.
all agree on
The shall
that.
is agreed. If you
Right.
I'd like to make a motion with a different number, vote against us.
Then we need to have a vote.
If you're okay with the 30, go with the 30.
If you just want to change shall, go with the rest of it, that's your prerogative to after that. Need a vote or whatever you want to vote.
Since we're having this discussion, have one.
No, we're not having any more discussion. I'm gonna
Okay, nothing happened. That's
Yeah.
good, like last time.
what I'm gonna do.
I've got to carry this one.
Don't take my stomach growling on the vote.
Oh, God. I think that's a pretty strong vote. How do you vote, Councilwoman? I am.
I'm giving you that. If this fails, I can present.
I would entertain a second motion.
Okay, no.
Okay, so that's 2 for, 3 against. Motion fails. Are there any other motions in regards to this item?
Can I motion to table this?
I think we need to get it, I think, moving, because again, remember, it's still got to go through first reading, it's got to go through business impact. I don't think it's fair to anyone to table this.
I would like to make another motion,
Okay.
and I would like to go with shall and 40 rooms.
Okay, we have a motion for changing the language to shall and requiring at minimum 40 rooms with an unlimited gaming license,
Yes.
including the business study to be.
Yes,
to be done.
with the business impacts.
Do I have a second?
All second?
Second from Councilman Travis. Any further discussion?
Where did you get the 40 rooms from?
30, 40, 50,
As a math teacher,
40
that's,
in the
that's the
middle,
middle.
compromise.
Any other discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye. Are we doing a roll call
Nobody else said anything, so you're gonna have to say something. Yes. Councilman Carson, how do you vote?
vote? Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
That's 3 for, 2 against. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to item 6.
There is no 6. It's 5-7. Well, somebody must have updated it.
Item 7, Councilman Oliver, Councilwoman Elliott, discussion on improving efforts on the city's behalf to secure federal and state funding.
Well, this is good news. I mean, I don't know, last week we said the Camden Street project got approved, so.
I think we got the notice on that evening.
Cool. So that's good news, everybody. Camden Street getting renovated. Other than that, no. Everything.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? So with that, we'll move on to item 8, Councilman Oliver, Councilwoman Williams Harper. Could we have quiet in the gallery, please? Tony, I'm looking at you. Item 8, Councilman Oliver, Councilwoman Williams Harper, discussion for possible action on approval to submit comment letter to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, regarding the White Pine Pump Storage Project.
Okay, we have a draft letter that came from the railroad, which I feel this project is going to be a disaster in this community. It's going to tear up the countryside, it's going to drain the water in the valleys. I think the city, and we're looking at the city, what's going to impact, it's going to take away some of our natural beauty to draw, to have people come here, and there's no more hunting in Duck Creek. There's lights all over the place, so that's why the letter that was presented for a draft, I think we could comment on it and be good with it. It's basically not condemning the project, but it's pointing out a lot of what ifs. What's going to happen with this? You know, they've changed their plan several times, ARPLUS has, and they're going to change it again and again. And it's been fought from all sides. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve to submit a comment letter to FERC regarding the White Pine Power Pump Storage Project.
I'll second. Motion from Councilman Oliver, second from Councilman Carson. Any further discussion? And my understanding is this kind of mirrors like comments that they were regularly.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried as ordered. Item 9, Councilwoman Williams, Stark, discussion with possible action, approval to assist White Pine High School with the installation of their senior banners on light poles mounted. White Pine High School will secure permitting with the Nevada Department of Transportation, purchase needed hardware, and make a contribution to the city of Ely to assist with labor costs. White Pine High School is requesting the city of Ely to assist with the needed equipment and manpower. Councilwoman Williams, Stark.
I just need to disclose that I am a current member of the White Pine Council District, and so I will be voting on this because I don't have any, it doesn't impact me anyway, but I just need to disclose that I work for the White Pine Council District.
And I'm also disclosing that I'm also an employee of White Pine High School, and that I am the senior advisor and initiate this, and so. No, and it doesn't personally benefit me in any way. Who this does benefit is our community, our seniors, and our families. And it pays homage to all of the kids who have done their due and they're graduating. And I just think it's a wonderful thing at this time of year when we drive up and down the street and we see all of our smiling faces of our students, because in some way, shape, or form, we have all helped them graduate. So I am asking that the city help us with those labor costs, and we will also be helping with some of the costs to make sure that we can get our students' banners, pictures up this year. That is a motion.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
Motion from Councilwoman Williams, Stark, a second from Councilwoman Elliott. Any further discussion?
I do have a concern, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, great for the seniors, I'll support them in any way I can, but to me, it kind of seems like maybe I wouldn't mind donating some equipment, but maybe the school district can help out with this a little bit too. I don't see where the disconnect is there.
We are going to buy the hardware, and we are also charging a little bit more for the banners so we can help defray some of the labor costs that we.
We're talking about a cash donation to the city to assist with labor costs. Do they have, or if you,
Go ahead.
I think Councilman Carson is asking if either the seniors or people at the high school who could help, and our labor force is kind of small.
Yes, there are. I actually talked to Mr. Craycraft today, and he said that there are some things that he can show us how to do that will take a great deal of labor. We will have a volunteer crew that will take a great deal and weight of the labor off of the city folks. So I did. They will teach us what to do to put these together, so all they have to do is hang them.
So, I know my oldest granddaughter, she was one of the first ones to have their picture hanging up on there, and she's gonna graduate from UNR in May, so I'm really proud of her. But where's the stuff from last year? Who done it in the past years? I mean, are we doing this over again? It's already been done. That part I don't understand. Where's all the goodies at?
My understanding is there was some personal family members in the community who kind of stepped up to do that, and they're not willing to do that anymore, or decided to do something else.
That's not the questions he's
Oh.
asking. So just to let you know, I'm new to this year, but my understanding is the hardware and the poles went with the kids when they were taken down. So kids have their banners and the hardware and the poles. So we have already said that this year we will make sure that we are collecting the poles and the hardware so we can continue once we pay, because the school is going to pay for the hardware, but we're going to pay for all of that hardware. But when we're gonna make sure that we take it down and we keep it for next year, so it's not a cost that we have to incur again. So just sort of walk away with the banners for each.
So look at the numbers you're providing. There's to me, so the city's gonna have to come up with about $3,400 in labor costs. I asked the Madam Treasurer, where's the $3,400 coming from? And I asked the Superintendent of Public Works, your manpower is being stretched all over this community doing streets, patching this, doing cemetery stuff, and the graduation's right around the corner. When are we gonna have where's the money coming from?
It would be to stretch for, if we're doing it on, company time, it would be a stretch. Because we do have to get the parks up and running, water, and all that, so.
Well, and what's the labor division that you and Councilman Williams Harper talked about? If they got some volunteers, how many city people would it take?
It paid down, I guess, one guy to show up and what to do.
And is that $3,400 you talked about, Dan, is that for the
No, that's-
entire?
Well, that was two
That's
guys.
the total project, $47.97, parts are $1,400, so the rest is gonna be labor.
Yeah, that was it, figured out that two guys for like 10 days. Because that's pretty much what it takes, it's quite a process. I mean, when to build these brackets, to banners on the brackets, to get up on the light poles, to take the Christmas decoration, the bracketing off, put them up. It would, yeah, it takes a couple days.
Using our bucket truck, which, since it's our bucket truck, you can't have non-city people in that bucket truck, I
That
don't
would
believe,
be,
insurance-wise. So I understand that there, so let's go to the lady with the purse strings.
Can I ask a question? Has the maintenance guys at the school district, are they involved in this, like you're asking our maintenance guys to be?
We have we would not be using our maintenance people use a company. We would be having volunteers that will, Mr. Craigtap said he will show us how to put the poles and the hardware on, and we will pay for the hardware. And we are also going to make a donation to defray the labor costs. You guys have put them up in the past, and the city truck has been used. And
That was all donated in the past.
I understand that, but still, the city truck has been used, and
Well, I guess because people that will be doing it, it's the cemetery guy and the parks guy that, whose budget it is. Because whatever they donate, it's gonna go into miscellaneous revenue, it's still gonna be expensed out to parks. I would split it between parks and cemetery just to keep it fair to their departments.
My thought on this is, I think we're gonna open up a can of worms, then we're gonna find the city, again, I'm all for students and education, and all that stuff that goes with it, sports, the whole gamut. My daughter's done it, and I still my granddaughters have. But, now what's the rodeo club gonna want? What's this other club gonna want? I mean, you're gonna fork out your parts and everything, I'll just say $3,400. I just think the school district needs to stand up and do this. It got started, and whoever done it in the past, they got kudos going to them, but here we are again, right on the final stretch of graduation, and we don't even have a plan. I just can't use city financing, in my opinion, in which we have a school district that has a lot more money than this city, that they can't pull their stuff together and get some of their, no offense to you teachers, get some of the teachers out there. I don't know, maybe that's part of the volunteer, I don't know. They just have a little hardware in the city.
They started a bucket truck with them.
And that's bucket truck, yeah, but that's,
the city has given us the bucket truck in the past, am I correct? That's how
Yes,
they
the
got
bucket
up.
truck and then the people that ran it were volunteers from the city. Can I give you a quick history? The city, for the most part, does not do donations because of what Jim was just referring to. We pretty much have stuck to, if we give to one, we're going to get lambasted with other requests. So our prior history doesn't mean we have to stick with it, is we haven't done huge donations or bigger donations other than the bucket truck.
So in the past, who, did you see employees just donate their time to run the bucket truck?
Yes.
A city employees.
two
City
Well,
employees.
one's gonna drive it, one's gonna
Yeah.
be in the bucket. So who's the other two?
days.
Oh, yeah.
But if the $3,400 is being covered by the school, we're just talking about the.
Do you know the size of the donation?
That's a fair question. But we're just talking about the limited staff we have, whether they're getting paid or not.
it taking them out of the needs of the city, the citizens of the city. I know these students are citizens also, but what's it doing to, we can't do it on a weekend. If they put these guys on the weekend, it's time and a half. And otherwise, you know, here we are in this big pothole dilemma, and our people are doing a great job, and they're using the two parks people to help on that cemetery.
And that's gonna move in.
So,
To a point, too.
That's
Well, no, I mean, they need to, we need to start getting there, that starts open, the cemetery and parks.
Okay.
We need to start getting that
We need
going.
to keep the discussion in scope of the item.
so let me ask this, the city has donated the truck in the past, am I correct?
Yeah.
This,
Right.
like, I came to council.
So, can we at least get the donation of the truck or
Well,
something?
we currently have a motion and a second on the table, which will have to be voted on unless they're retracted.
So we both retract those, since we
Retract it.
yeah, I'll retract my second.
And so then I still need a price of how much, so, well, we still have to, somebody from the city still gotta drive it.
I don't think the city could donate the truck without them.
Right. So which is no different than what you've been doing in the past.
The operator donated their time after hours and on the weekends. They didn't charge nothing, but the city let them use the tractor, both experienced, sign off operators.
Is that a possibility?
Is there anybody left who's willing to donate their time on that one? So far, no. Okay. Who does the bucket truck for the, well, that's off the agenda item. I'll entertain another motion then. On something.
We're employees, can we donate our time to help?
No,
You're
somebody's
not
gotta.
certified right about.
Okay, so if we say we're going to pay for this time, is this, will you do it? Or now do I hear Jim saying we don't have time to do it? Even if you give us the money?
I think that's Councilman's contention, is that we don't have enough staff to cover this even if it's paid.
Have you guys reached out to anyone else with a truck on this?
West Electric or Leon, JW, Bruce Hunt.
No.
I mean, we could,
Table it?
you could do it.
And maybe a little bit more, just because it seems like we don't have the time with people. Like the moment, I mean, a week, 2 weeks time, we may find some time with people.
Anything else?
I'm just asking you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna withdraw it,
Okay.
which probably means these kids' pictures will go up this year, and it's really an internal thing, but that would be a shame.
It's sad that something that works so great was busted for whatever reason. That's what's the sad thing. This community is together to do this. And whatever upset the boat and sunk the boat now, that's too sad it happened. So I'm sorry for all that, but we have a city to run.
I think at this point, the motion would have to be to quash it rather than withdraw. wouldn't it?
Yeah, there'd be a motion to quash or table if it's
Okay.
to be considered a living title.
Is that your motion, Council?
Whatever needs to be.
Motion to quash, do I have a second?
I'll second the quash.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? With that, we move on to item 10, Councilmember City Treasurer Trask, discussion for possible action, approval to transfer $300,000 of community service funds that have been committed for up to 2 miles of street repairs into the street fund.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do I, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
With that, we move on to item 7, public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have to.
Hi everyone, this is the host of Nevada. I just want to say thank you for your time and your consideration. I know that the issue of the ordinance was not an easy one, and I just want to say thank you for your thoughtfulness and your time. And on item 9, perhaps there's somebody who might want to start a GoFundMe for the money to get the equipment for the flagpoles. Just a thought. Anyway, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Hollywood Prospector. I kind of echo the GoFundMe account for that. I think it would be great. I love every summer seeing all this stuff up on the light poles on Main Street. I think it's amazing. I think it's a great way to honor the kids. So I think a GoFundMe would actually be a really great idea. But also, I just also want to echo, just saying thank you for your time and your consideration and hearing us out. We appreciate it. I know this was not an easy situation to be in for weeks on end, but we appreciate you and we're really looking forward to the future of our town. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I think the community is pretty well agreeing on painting that corner property at Hoffman and Great Basin. But when the property is owned by a contractor, there should be no excuse as to why it looks like it does. You have rules and regulations, yet you're not enforcing the law. You're waiting for a contractor or a developer to commit BS, and it doesn't stand for best son. Mr. Mayor, this is a repeat request. Councilman Allworth, who stated in an earlier meeting that he knew of an individual who had 3 or more properties but would not sell them. I want to know who that person is that he's talking about in a public meeting. Councilpersons should not mislead or lie to those that they supposedly represent. If you're talking about me, you put me in a corner. I'm not going to sell at a loss. You won't give me permits. I have a long memory, folks. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 6B8, the council needs to endorse that clean energy project, and it will contribute considerably to the tax base, and bring in more revenue than ever collected from an S&S shoreline for tract rental. Let's be serious, folks. You can't pick and choose some things. This country is leaning toward clean energy. The lights that everybody keeps talking about are going to pollute the sky. You better listen to those presentations. None of that is true. If a light is needed, it's going to be federal regulations because you're at a certain height and it's done for safety, for flying aircraft. Mr. Mayor, on your agenda item 6B2, you consider Leah Brown's reappointment to the Regional Planning Commission. That should have been denied. She has consistently failed to do her basic duties and address code violations that were within 100 feet of her, or address any of the concerns that I brought to the Planning Commission since she was appointed. I've asked if they were going to do any updates, pages, nothing. Mr. Oliver is one, no permit. Mr. Flames is another one, no permit. Former Councilman Ed Spear, no permit. On and on. There's malfeasance there, there's misfeasance, malfeasance. Either do your job or you go away. She's got a construction project going on, not fenced off, doesn't meet code, and yet we're after the public.
Thank you,
We
Mr.
need to
Chairman.
address that, Mr. Mayor. This elected enforcement has to
Thank
stop.
you, Mr. Chairman. Is there another
I'll
public
take
comment?
2969.
Hearing none, we'll close public
No, I
comment.
kind of, Benjamin, whatever. I just want to say that I agree with George. You know, we've called the city council for the blight on Avenue E, and she was told, and I was told, that there isn't enough garbage on that slope. Well, you see garbage blowing all down the street, so it's not all going to stay on the slope. And it's nothing to do with, well, same thing bad about Jim Moran, but it does need to be cleaned up. And some of that blight that he's talking about. And if we're talking about adding more rooms and stuff, it would be good if you could maybe work with George to try to get him to get those rooms opened up. He's trying to get permits, trying to work on his apartments. And you guys are concerned about 20 rooms. Well, he's got about 20 rooms that he'd like to start on. So I don't know what the city council's beef is with George, but you know, if you can work it out, that would be good. Right? Mr. Mayor?
Is that your public comment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Please.
Sandy Marino, and I went back over what my husband said. I have journey reports for garbage, dead trees, tires, cows, goats, and it doesn't go away. And I'll come to find out one of the offenders, the one that likes to bring livestock into town, is related to a city employee. And I don't understand why we have to put up with this. This project that you guys just killed, that was our only chance to get the neighborhood cleaned up. No one else has offered, no one else is interested in fixing the motels or the mobile park. We currently have kids that keep breaking into that tall building at the Bon Air Trailer Park, the abandoned building, jumping out of the second-story windows. Someone has now gone in there and started stripping the copper wire out of that building. Okay, and we just get no backup from the city. A couple of years ago, code enforcement went in there and made Jim move a couple of trailers, a boat, a couple of cars, but all the other junk got left behind. And when I complained about it, we just get ignored. Now maybe one of the people sitting in the back of the room, when they call code enforcement, they might get some action. But for some reason, our neighborhood has been left behind. And during the heavy rains, our shop gets flooded. We don't even have one drain inlet on our block, not one. And when the city hit the water line, when they were working on Altman, it flooded our shop. And we asked for the ditch that got washed out to be repaired. Nothing. Nothing. Even sent a supervisor out there saying, yeah, it won't take long, we'll be back next week. That never happened. So Josh has been more willing to work with our neighborhood and more understanding than what some of these other people have been. He's the only one who's been interested in cleaning up this stuff, dealing with the potential contamination from the laundromat. How many years has that been sitting there? Water running on it because there's nowhere else to go because there's no drain, and just taking that contamination down deeper. There's rebar, concrete, all kinds of stuff sticking out of the slopes. And the little kids like to run through the snow, and when it's real deep and no one's compacted it, they fall through the snow. I thought we were going to have to go unbury one day. It's a hazardous situation. And why has it been allowed? When I know people have complained, because I'm one of them. And I just think now you might have to maybe hire a real code enforcement officer. And it's not just our neighborhood, there's neighborhoods all over town. And it's time to do some cleanup. And I know you're strained for manpower, and yeah, I think the potholes are a priority. I hate to be in an ambulance with a spinal cord injury and hit one of those holes, you know, that could really mess someone up. Anyway, thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
Mayor Roberts.
The Troy Laundry is clean.
May I clarify for the record that what was passed tonight is to direct the city attorney to draft an ordinance amending Title III. So just so everyone's clear, this is still a 2-month process ahead of us to put in place what was approved tonight.
And that business affects everything.
Any other public comment? You've had your 3 minutes.
I just wanted to let you know the Troy Laundry is clean.
Is there any other public comment? Because if there's not, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Everybody.
There's a VRBO, it's listed on the VRBO. Future energy is listed on the
I'm sorry. I'm just
My understanding.
This is all about, right? We have the voice, we have the voice. Have conversations.
Additional labor.
I'll go back to the phone Monday. I really.
We're probably about.
Thank you for all your support. We appreciate it. Oh, wow. Couldn't do it Don't be a stranger. Oh, I don't know. We should be for
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatch is reporting.